Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam, Trilokyam Sacharacharam. Tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva. Tvameva Vedya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So we are making our way now through the 9th chapter. What verse are we on, Mark?
Verse number 3.
Verse number 3. Do you have a page number?
602 in my copy.
602. It should be close to that in yours. Ready? Pasam?
Yeah. Ashraddhana Purushat Dharmasyasya Param Tapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vatmani. Persons without faith in this Dharma or the Divine Self, O Param Tapa, without attaining me, return to the path of rebirth, fraught with death.
So here he's talking again about what happens. Parantapa, scorcher of foes, is what it means. So in Hindu spiritual anthropology, we have the notion of reincarnation, that the transmigrating soul starts off at the lowest life forms, enters the animal kingdom, lifetime after lifetime, goes through many different incarnations. Eventually, we are born into the human realm. And there are two forces that work on us once we enter the human realm: karma and dharma. Karma. We are impelled into action by the force of our past. A lot of Westerners think, I have free choice. But no one ever asks the question, why do you choose what you choose? Where do our desires come from? And yoga says we build them lifetime after lifetime, being identified with what we find pleasant and avoiding what we find unpleasant. We can make all sorts of choices. Sometimes we have regret and we think we deserve to be punished. All you have to do is look at one lifetime and you can see a lot of those things going on. So we go round and round the karma chakra. But that's not the only force that's operating on us. As human beings, there is the Dharma, which is always pressing the human soul. How does it express itself? The Dharma of the human mind is that it seeks the good by its highest understanding of the good and avoids suffering. You're involved in a situation and it makes you miserable. Our conclusion is, well, that was terrible. I don't want to do that again. And if we have something that's pleasant, we think, oh, let me do that again. But the problem with worldly good is it is always temporary. It is always finite and usually subject to the law of diminishing return. Someone gives me a box of C's candies. The first chocolate is wonderful, but if I eat the whole box, oh, I get sick. So eventually, in this evolution of the soul, we start to ask the deep, profound questions. Is there any real purpose or meaning to life? Or is it just the rat race of cash and prizes? Is that all there is? And we begin to awaken to spiritual desires. This is called subheja, auspicious desire. You may take an interest in a book. We may go to a lecture, pravachana, hear somebody talk. We might meet someone who themselves is a yogi. We're impressed with their serenity, their peace of mind. And the beauty of the path, Krishna in a prior chapter has said, even a little of this knowledge frees us from great fear. We get practical benefits immediately. And the more we practice, the more peace of mind we get. The greater our capacity to accept life on life's terms. We can match calamity with serenity. We lose our desire to try to fix other people. Have compassion. Now, what Krishna is saying is, first of all, if you're still at a lower level and you're still looking to the world of cash and prizes, you'll continue to be on the karma chakra. Come back again and again, trying something different. But even if we develop spiritual inclinations, until we have sthita prajna, as he calls it in the second chapter, steady wisdom, we come back and work some more. And earlier he says, don't worry, you can't take your money with you. You can't take your property with you when you die, but you can take your yoga with you, because these are qualities of the subtle body. And we're born into an auspicious family where we take up our yoga again. So here he says, until moksha, liberation, dawns on the mind, we keep coming back into the world of birth and death. No blame, it's just what happens. But if, on the other hand, we rediscover who we are, then we're free from the cycle of births and deaths. And again, when Krishna talks about himself, he's talking about the self, meaning your essential nature. Now, we cannot force this. Swamiji used to say it's an evolution, not a revolution. If I go across the street to the garden over there in the park, and I see a rose bush that has a rose bud, I cannot make it bloom by pulling on the bud, the leaves, the petals. All I do is ruin it. We cannot force our spiritual unfoldment. It is a natural process. It is our swadharma. It is our swabhava. So there's a Zen proverb, hasten slowly. We have to be patient with our progress, with the firm conviction no one is left behind. Everybody comes home to God. Any thoughts on this? What's the driving force? It is theoretically possible for us to engage in intense sadhana out of inspiration, out of our pure love for God. But it's rare. Most of us are impelled into practice as a response to our suffering. I want to be free from my suffering. It's okay. Next verse.
Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat vyakta murtina matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavasthita. All this world is pervaded by me in my unmanifest form or aspect. All beings exist in me, and I do not dwell in them.
So, back in an earlier chapter, Krishna says, all this is strung on me like a mani sutra, like gems on a thread. Think of like a pearl necklace, meaning the self in me is like the self in you, the self in you, the self in you. But in this verse, what he's saying, well, actually, I am not in them. They are in me. So what he's saying is the nature of ultimate reality, Brahman, which is Krishna, is consciousness itself, which pervades the phenomenal world. And all the names and forms, the things and beings are in it. Now, this becomes easy to understand if we go to the dream state. You are the God of your dream. In the dream state, you microcosmically, individually reenact the creative process of the infinite. So, first thing that happens is you go to sleep. That's my own personal Maya. We call it avidya, pure ignorance. Avyaktaha, the unmanifest. The prajnana ghanam, the homogeneous mass of the stuff of the mind. Then comes the Vikshepa Shakti, the projecting power. And the individual mind creates my individual dream. And I have a dream body with a dream ego, and there are people, places, things, and conditions outside, and dream thoughts and feelings inside. But do you incarnate into the dream? Are you in the dream, or is the dream in you? Well, it feels like I'm in the dream. When I'm dreaming, it feels like it's very real. And that I am that dream body going through all these experiences. But even though it feels that way, it's not real. When you wake up, poof, gone. The dream was in me. In fact, it wasn't even really in me. If I dream about a horse, when I wake up in the morning, the horse is not next to me in bed. So also, all the things and beings in the world, in the Jagat, are in consciousness. But they don't change consciousness. Just like the images in a mirror never change the mirror. Consciousness pervades everything. And there's lots and lots of implication to this. The person in total spiritual ignorance is convinced external circumstances cause my mind states. But the yogi begins to see it's my habituated mind states that create my experience of the world. The world is far more plastic than I think it is. We all live in the same universe. Well, actually, we don't. One person's view of the world can be radically different than another. Someone can say, oh, gloom and doom, it's all terrible. We're all going to be destroyed. Oh, grief. And a yogi may say, I live and move and have my being in God. All is well. All is well. Why? Because the world comes about sankalpena, by means of imagination. There's the cosmic imagination, Brahman's imagination. There's nothing you or I can do to change the speed of light. But we are co-creating far more than you think. The Master Jesus said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It is perfect Tantra Yoga. My habituated thoughts create my experience of the phenomenal world. Why? Because it's all consciousness. It's all consciousness. So we want to deal with three great questions. The Raja Guhyam, the royal secret. Koham, who am I? What is this world? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman alone is real. The names and forms of the phenomenal world are illusory. And how have they come about? Sankalpena, by means of imagination. Next verse.
न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भृतभिन्नर्च भूतस्थो ममात्मा bhutavāvanah. Nor do beings exist in reality in me. Behold my divine yoga supporting all beings, but not dwelling in them. I am myself, the efficient cause of all beings.
Yes. So he finishes the idea. First, he said, as I said before, all this is strung on me like gems on a thread. In the last verse, he said, well, actually, I'm not in them, they are in me. And in this verse, he says, Well, they're not really in me. Why? Because they're imaginary. You go into the bathroom and you look in the mirror. There's a reflection in the mirror. But is there a reflection really in the mirror? I go into the mirror and I see an old white guy. Deepa goes in. She's a beautiful young lady. I want to switch reflections with her. You leave yours in the mirror. I'll take that one now. No, can't do it. And the mirror undergoes no change. Consciousness undergoes no change. Again, going back to the dream state, whether you have a pleasant dream or you have a nightmare, in the morning you wake up and you're safe in your bed. You are not in the dream. The dream is in you. And the nama rupa, the names and forms in the dream, are not really in you. And then he says, behold my divine yoga, my divine Maya, the support of the whole universe. Now, what's amazing is physicists are coming closer and closer to the vision of Vedanta. We are losing our notion of matter being a solid particular thing. More and more, it's just probability. And the very act of observing something makes it appear concrete or material. It's all very, very cool. And the rishis had these ideas thousands and thousands of years ago. You're our scientist. Anything to add to this? No. Going on.
यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायु सर्वत्र गोमहान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मतस्थानित्युपधारय. As the mighty wind, moving everywhere, rests always in the space, which is Akasha, even so, know you, all beings rest in me.
Yes. So the wind can blow in space, but space is not altered or touched by the wind. So also all the names and forms occur in consciousness, but consciousness is never touched by it. I forgot one piece on the last verse when he says, I am the efficient cause of everything. In yoga, we talk about 3 dimensions of causation. There is the material cause, there is the instrumental cause, and there is the efficient cause. Let me give you an example. When a potter makes a pot, the material cause of the pot is clay. The instrumental cause of the pot is the potter's wheel. The efficient cause, the one who's doing the action, is the potter. Now, when it comes to the Jagat, when it comes to the creation, Krishna is the material cause, the instrumental cause, and the efficient cause. Let me show you what I mean by that. If I dream I'm driving a car, what is the material out of which the car is made? Well, it seems like it's made out of metal and plastic. No, it's made out of the stuff of consciousness appearing as a car. Where did it happen? Where's the instrument? It's the mind itself. It's the instrument. I didn't need to bring some instrument to sleep with me to build the car. Who did it? I didn't. So the car of my dream, my mind, my own chitta, the stuff of my mind, is the material cause, the instrumental cause, and the efficient cause. All this, what is it really made of? Consciousness appearing as the world of name and form. You've all heard me quote my favorite mantra from Chandogya Upanishad. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Sarvam Idam, all this Kalu verily is Brahman, the material cause of the world. What instrument did the Lord use? Himself. His own free will, which is infinite. And who did it? Brahman alone. He didn't have to have a buddy to do it with him. There's nothing other than Brahman. Do you all understand this idea? We run around thinking there's a self inside me. I'm somehow inside my body, being out. But I have the same experience in a dream. It's certainly a very real experience, but it's not real. This body, mind, intellect, and the ahankriti, the ego sense, are in consciousness. And in truth, they come about only by imagination. They're not solid. So we have all sorts of stories of great Mahatmas and Rishis flying through the air, teleporting from one place to another. I tell you, God doesn't break his laws. If Shankara can do it, it means theoretically anyone can do it. He just had deeper insight into reality. These great Mahatmas are not the great exceptions. What they are is the great examples. They show us what a human being is capable of. Why? Because these Mahatmas, these rishis know this world is nothing but vibration held together by thought. And there's so much implication to that teaching. All right, next verse.
It's took together.
Give it just a moment now.
Sarvabhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Kalpakshaye Punastani Kalpado Visrajamyaham Prakritim Swamavashtamya Visajami Puna Puna Bhutagrama Mimam Kritsna Mavasham Prakrutir Vashat. All beings, O Kaunteya, go into my Prakriti at the end of a kalpa. I send them forth again at the beginning of the next kalpa. Animating my Prakriti, I, again and again, send forth all this helpless multitude of beings by the force of nature or Prakriti.
So here Krishna explains how beings come into the world. And we can always take this and look at my individual life. So here Krishna is saying, at the end of an age, the whole universe is wrapped up into one great avyakta, and then there's another big bang and it comes forth again. And each being, even in this age, when you're done with this life, your physical body goes back to the physical elements, but your subtle body maintains its impressions. And then, impelled by these past impressions, these vasanas, we take the next birth. You don't have to believe in incarnation. For example, Vinayak, why do you live in the United States?
I went here to study.
Yeah. So you had, as it were, an incarnation as a young man in India, and then impelled by your desire and your karmic circumstances, you had to have the resources to do it and the grades. You incarnated as a Cal student. Is that where you got your BA or BS?
That's where I got my graduate degree
That's right. Where'd you get your bachelor's?
in India.
In India?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you came here to do graduate work. But that was an incarnation, as it were. A new life, a new place, new friends, new everything. And then you're no longer a student. Now you're an entrepreneur and an engineer. That's another incarnation. But it's impelled in the same way. The force of the past, the qualities of your mind, impel you into a new environment. So we don't have to believe in the doctrine of reincarnation. The teaching is perfectly understandable just looking at one linear life. Scriptures do say we go from lifetime to lifetime. We have three kinds of karmas: sanchitta karma, agami karma, and prarabdha karma. Are these terms you've heard before?
Yes.
Okay. Sanchitta karma are the karmas of the past which have yet to fructify. So, for example, for Deepa, if she wanted to be a Japanese sumo wrestler in a prior life, as well as wanting to have the life experience you have with this life, sorry, you have the wrong body to be a sumo wrestler. So that's the karmas of the past which have yet to fructify. You have to wait for another incarnation to live out those desires, or for an environment to present itself. Agami karmas are the karmas of the future that we set in place this lifetime. We go through this life and we think, well, this didn't make me very happy. It would have been so much better if I had been born in Mongolia and just raised horses. Oh, so much more peaceful. So we set up a life for the future. Prarabdha karma is the karma of the now, of this life. Your prarabdha karma is to sit in my living room today. How do I know that? Because that's what you're doing. Both the sanchita karma and the agami karma is roasted in the fire of self-realization. No external worldly experience in the end will satisfy the heart. Only coming home to God. So all that's left is the karma of this life. And the jnani steps back and she just watches the karma unfold. You'll get your allotted dose of successes and failures, joys and sorrows, kicks and pats. But the yogi has no concern for it. Do your best. Practice titiksha, the capacity to bear the vicissitudes of life without the need for redress or revenge. Return good for evil. Don't be a jerk. Aja Govindam Udhavate. Wonderful hymn of Shankar. Don't get caught up in worldly things, thinking that's important. For this fellow, his grammar rules. Instead, love the Lord, worship the Lord. Know yourself. Any thoughts? Next verse.
न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीन मसक्तं तेषु कर्मसु. Sitting like one indifferent and unattached to these acts. Dhananjaya, these acts do not bind me.
So it's not just that the actions that the world takes, has, don't touch Krishna. Remember, we read Gita from 3 levels simultaneously. It's a Dharma Shastra. Teaches us how to behave and act in the world. You can be identified with Arjuna as the subtle body, the questing yogi. But whatever Krishna says about himself is true about you. So we've just started another session of our beginning course, The Art of Meditation. And on the very first week, I gave the students the assignment of Sakshi Bhava. What's that?
Attitude of the witness.
Yeah. Now, the truth is, this is the secret, you can't really become the witness. You already are the witness. You can only begin to notice that you are the witness. Meaning I'm the knower of all sensory experiences. And more importantly, I'm the knower of my feelings. I'm the knower of my thoughts. I can remember being at a camp once, and one of the delegates says, Swamiji, when are you coming to Allahabad? And he says, I go nowhere. Allahabad passes in front of me. Begin to see, look, notice yourself. See if you ever change, or whether or not you are always untouched, pure awareness, Chidakasha, the space of awareness itself. You don't become it. You don't grow into it. You don't achieve it. In truth, it's what you already are. We just don't know it. This frees us from so much anxiety and fear. Nothing's going to harm you. You're absolutely safe. We have to see that for ourselves. So Krishna here implies that the whole world goes on, none of it touches him. And it's the truth about you and me. Pay attention. Watch your mind. See that all those upsets and changes are always in front of me. And I am kutastha, still, established like a mountain. As you begin to see this more and more, the mind itself starts to settle down. All right, any thoughts or questions about this? Next verse.
Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetu nanena kaunteya jagad parivartate. Under me as her supervisor, Prakriti or nature produces the moving and the unmoving. Because of this, O Kaunteya, the world revolves.
So the self is the life principle in everything. The best modern example of this is electricity. Electricity is not light, not motion, not sound. Yet the light bulb, the fan, and the stereo cannot light, move, or sing without it. It is the touch of the electricity that causes the bulb to shine, the fan to move, and the stereo to sing. So also, Prakriti, the natural phenomenal world, is jada. It is inert. It has no inherent life. It is this Brahman contact. Later on, he will use the term asparsha yoga. The root is prichati, which means to touch. Asparsha means untouched. Yoga means joy. Swamiji, because he was a poet, called it the touch of the untouched. It is because of you, Brahman itself, that the body moves, the mind feels, the intellect thinks, and the whole world moves. But you, though the very life principle in everything, are kutastha, still, immovable. Next verse.
Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavamajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools disregard me when I dwell in human form. They know not my higher being as the great Lord of all beings.
So the exoteric meaning is all these people running around in the historical period. Oh, there's that dude, Krishna. He looks funny. He's blue. You know, he's the dude in Dwarka. They don't know him as the Lord of creation. But the deeper meaning is I move through the world and I see people on the bus or the airplane or in the supermarket. And I see the idiots on the television, this political party, that political party. And I think they're all idiots. They're not doing life right. Why are they so troublesome and bothersome? I forget. Our bodies are different. Our feelings are different. Our behavior is different. Our thoughts are different. Our egos are different. But the conscious being that's looking out of those eyes, no matter who it is Krishna. Oh, so and so was an avatar. I mean, my guru's fancier than yours. He's or she's an avatar. Well, I have news for you. You are an avatar. What's the definition of an avatar? Divine incarnation of God. Who do you think yourself is? Who do you think everybody else's self is? Now, if we relate to everyone as if the being that's looking out of their eyes is myself, is Krishna. Watch how your world transforms. But as the Lord says in this verse, fools disregard me in human form. Oh, that person's scum. That person ought to be thrown in jail. We ought to lock those people up. Yeah. Sarvam kalpidam Brahma. All this is verily God. No exceptions. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
These two together again.
All right.
Mogasha moga karmano moga jnana vichekasa rakshasima surim chaiva prakritim mohinim shritaha mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritimashritāh bhajantyanyanyamanaso gyatva bhutadimavyayam. Of vain hopes, of vain actions, of vain knowledge, and senseless, they verily are possessed of the delusive nature of Rakshasas and Asuras. But the Mahatmas, O Partha, partaking of my divine nature, worship me with a single mind, with a mind devoted to nothing else, knowing me as the imperishable source of all beings.
Yes, the imperishable. So, having vain hopes. What's the list again?
Of vain hopes, of vain actions, of vain knowledge, and
Yes.
senseless.
So this is the description of the Mudha, the fool, who have the qualities of the Rakshasas and the Asuras. These are not necessarily non-carnate beings that afflict us. They are qualities that human beings exhibit. Essentially, the Rakshasas, or the Rakshasa state of mind, is the mind state of greed. When what I want is more. I've become a moron. I want more, 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 better, different. There's never enough. It's a state of spiritual poverty. I'm not enough. The world's not enough. And then I have to struggle for more. And what happens when my desire for more gets thwarted? I get angry. The asuras are angry people. So people are caught up in what I call the spiritual KKK. It's not the Ku Klux Klan. Kama, karma, krodha. I'm caught in craving. I want more, more, more. This impels me into ego-prompted activity. I grunt and sweat under a weary life, as Hamlet says. And what is the yogic definition of anger? Anybody remember?
Thwarted desire.
Thwarted desire, unmet expectation. If I'm angry, that's why. I think I'm angry because I've been done wrong. No. I'm angry because I did not get what I want. My expectation was not met. I'm the one with the klesha. Well, don't I have a right to be angry if someone cheats me? You can have whatever feeling you want. You're a free person. But is that a solution? Real story. Talking to a person I'm working with on the phone. He's all upset because his siblings' politics are different than his. We're at this terrible time in our society where families are being fractured because of differing political appearances. So I got to fight. I got to stand up. So I don't even want to be in her home. You know, all this hatred. And I said, well, if you quit speaking to your sister, is that a solution? Is that going to change the society in any way? Why don't you write a check to some politician or group that supports your particular vision? He hangs up the phone. He wanted to be angry at his sister. But it's not a solution. Rarely is. But most of us are asuras. We love our righteous indignation. And I'm not saying we shouldn't act to bring justice in the world. Of course we should. Do good, be good. Seva, serve the society. But don't get upset about it. Don't do any good. So the asuras and the rakshasas are you and me. They're not flying around in the sky. And what is the cause of it? Avidya. Ignorance. Ignorance of what really is going on. Ignorance of who we are. Ignorance of what really makes a person happy. But the Mahatmas, meaning the great souls, those who are jnanis, who know themselves, the self. I love the term that he uses in the second chapter, Astita Prajna Purusha, person of steady wisdom, has no enemies. That doesn't mean she's oblivious to the suffering of others or their ignorance. But try some consciousness raising rather than some hating on people. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And who in the end does more to change the world? The activists marching around with a sign. Not that there's anything wrong with that. By all means, do it. Or the yogi whose mind is deep in samadhi, intending the well-being of all. Any thoughts on this? Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. What verse are we on for next week?
14.
14. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om.